Mexico and
I have with me David Pakman. He is a progressive host and executive producer of the nationally syndicated radio and TV program, The David Pakman Show. And I wanted to talk to David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male.
Can you remind the audience, when you talk about being a beta male and being an alpha male, what are we talking about here?
There are males, most men today, male, they think and act like a woman. They're emotional, they are mentally off, they have no logic. And that's a beta male. They go along with homosexuality.
Hold on, whoa, Jesse, we got it. That's a lot.
LGBTQ.
That's a lot.
They
Hold on.
agree with everything that's raw. Abortion, they think and act just like a woman. A beta male does. But a non-beta male doesn't, because he's a logical thinking. And they're controlled by the darkness of David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David, you're not here to communicate. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let you go. It's a waste of time to talk to you. We're not communicating. You're acting like an idiot.
Because you're asking bizarre questions.
You're
and not
acting like an idiot, and you're wasting my time. I appreciate you coming. All right, thank you for coming. Goodbye. Goodbye. Let him know. That's a progressive vote. All men who are progressive, or males who are progressive.
Trump was doing this with his personal toilet.
but sinks, toilets, and showers.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15 times.
Elements of bathrooms.
We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15 times.
Elements of bathrooms.
What on earth is going on with Trump and toilets? Trump's White House toilet would be clogged. With documents that Donald Trump was flushing down the toilet. Is this the explanation?
Big massive dumps.
Elements of bathrooms.
10 times, 15
Trump was doing
times.
this with his personal toilet.
Elements of bathrooms.
And showers.
Big massive dumps.
Elements of bathrooms.
Duty. 10 times, 15 times. Not me,
Elements of bathrooms.
God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
Elements of bathrooms.
Uh-oh. Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes. I
Uh-oh.
love mangoes.
I love mangoes, too.
99 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11? That sounds good.
The American people will lie. And highway robbery is what you're doing. Bring my mangoes back down. My bag of mangoes. My bag of mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes. Bring my mangoes back down. Raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Bring my mangoes back down.
The Wisconsin crowd identified with the mangoes.
Disproportionately affected the American people. Those who want me to be healthy. Those who want me to be healthy. If highway robbery is what you're doing. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit.
Mangoes?
Welcome, everybody. We are very closely monitoring a bald eagle in a tree. One little bald eagle has just hatched, and it's sitting on another egg. And we are keeping an extremely close eye on it with all angles of coverage coming in. But the eagle has been born. One of them has been born, and it's pretty remarkable what's going on. No, actually, somehow I came across this stream when getting ready for my stream. Oh, look at the eagle rocking. Did you guys see that rocking motion there? Very interesting animal behavior here. Somehow only 9 people are watching this stream. I don't even know what it is. I don't know why it was recommended to me, but I do like it. And we don't know what will happen with the other egg right now. But so that's happening. We are also watching the sentencing of Jussie Smollett or Smallett. This is the 2019 fake hate crime, the hate crime hoax. My view is this needs to be taken very seriously. And for those who may not remember what this was about, actor Jussie Smollett back in 2019, this was days before. Wait, no, what year? No, this was a year before the pandemic, not days before the pandemic. This was the year before the pandemic. The American actor, Jussie Smollett, reported to Chicago PD that he had been the victim of a hate crime. And it turns out he staged the hate crime with 2 Nigerian American brothers who were extras on Empire, which is the show that actor Jussie Smollett acted in. And Smollett arranged for the brothers to attack him while wearing ski masks and arranged for them to shout racial and homophobic slurs, pour bleach on him, put a noose around his neck. And he not only reported it, but said one of the people who did it was white. Now, I find this all despicable. I find it all despicable. But as a minor detail, if you stage a racist hate crime and you're black, wouldn't you hire white people to do it? Like, what I mean is, it seems like such an unforced error to get black guys to attack you and then claim, oh, I mean, it's horrible on all levels, but it also is like, he's not exactly a criminal genius, I guess we would say. In any case, police started to get suspicious, and it turns out that he staged it. And we are now standing by at the sentencing hearing. Let's just listen to a little bit. And now here's my my take on this. Okay, this needs to be taken very seriously because the right loves to say there's constantly false reports of rape and hate crimes and all these different things. Now, you know, and I know, we all know there is almost no fake reporting of crimes. And in fact, it's the opposite. There's probably underreporting because of stigma, shame, worry that the police won't believe me, worry that my family will be, all this different stuff. So when this does happen, it has to be taken very seriously. Let's listen a little bit to the arguments here. This is the sentencing of Jussie Smollett.
He told him what to buy, what derogatory, homophobic, racial slurs to utter, to try to pretend as if there's whites involved by yelling out mega country. He owned every bit of the plan, and he worked hard on it. He planned it out, and he executed on it, and he owns that for doing that. And so, yes, it is serious misconduct on his part, and it had broad ramifications. And the true victims are, of course, number one, the true hate crime victims that are not going to report these crimes. They are the true victims. The police department, though, is a victim, and I'm going to talk about that.
Okay, so we're going to continue monitoring this. I have so many other things to get to, but we are going to monitor that. Pustain Pete says, David, sir, I've retained Whitney as legal counsel. I've been audited 10 to 15 times because of your coupon codes. Call Whitney to discuss terms. We'll do that. And Austin said, David, sir, did the judge offer calzones? I don't know. I haven't been following this case, so I don't know if the judge here has been as accommodating when it comes to food during the trial.
By the way, how are the calzones? The food is here. Let's take a break. Lunch is here. Pizza is here. But we have Subway tomorrow. Warm food around noon.
Yeah. Anyway. We're going to continue. We're going to continue monitoring this. The latest news out of Ukraine. It's the Daily Mail reporting. Okay, but still, Putin begins to move on Kyiv. Russian tank column repelled, and another top commander killed in a devastating ambush as Moscow's forces move within a few miles of capital outskirts amid fears that the Mariupol bombings are a sign of what is to come. Russia attacked Kyiv from west and east Wednesday. As analysts say, the battle for the capital is now underway. Footage showed a Russian assault from the east was ambushed by artillery and suffered heavy losses. Interior Ministry said it was a difficult night in Irpin, to the west of the capital. Excuse me. Some funny chat happening. But Ukrainian forces counterattack through the morning. There are fears that the capital could soon be under heavy bombardment. Yeah. So that's on the one hand what's going on. And it is now 6, I guess it's 1 a.m. in Ukraine. Meanwhile, increasingly, oh wait, that's for later. After Ukraine, Europe wonders who is the next Russian target. And that's a serious question. For some European countries watching Russia's brutal war in Ukraine, there are fears they could be next. Western officials say the most vulnerable could be those who aren't members of NATO or the EU and are thus alone and unprotected. That includes the Ukrainian neighbor Moldova, Russia's neighbor Georgia, both of them formerly part of the USSR, along with the Balkan states of Bosnia and Kosovo. Analysts warn even NATO members could be at risk, such as Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. It would be devastating if any of those three countries were the subject of Russian hostility. I happen to have a soft spot for Estonia. I've spent time in Estonia. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Great people. And I'm sure the people everywhere are great. I'm just saying I know about the people in Estonia. Really, really, I mean, it's all crazy. I see that our Twitch subs thing has sort of gone off the screen. Let me see if I can deal with that. And you know why it is? Because we've gotten to 1,000. There it is. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, we got it. So concerns about Russian ambitions going beyond Ukraine. And of course, that's been a concern for a long time. In the meantime, the price of oil has come down a bit. As you can see here, we've now had a 2-day decline where oil peaked at 114. Oh, wait, no, that's the 1 day. Sorry. Oil peaked at 127 and is down to 105. So about a 15% decline in the price of oil. And that is a good thing. I mean, it's so, but I'm not an investor in oil. I'm just thinking of what is happening right now with gas prices and what's happening with shipping and what's going to be happening. And it's not good. This is not your typical gas is up 20 cents and Republicans cry. And we're like, that's an average of another $1.50 a month for most people. That's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about a dramatic increase. And so crude oil coming back down a little bit. You know, to say that a higher or lower commodity price is good or bad ignores the complexity of so much of how the economy works. But I actually would say it's good that the prices come down a little bit. So we're following that. I don't know that I had anything here. Oh, the U.S. has seen Russia increasingly firing weapons from a distance, using long-range fires, bombardment missile launches from aircraft and mobile missile launchers. And increasingly hitting populated areas. So, again, I see no simple off-ramp for Putin, given his personality. And when you see that they are creeping closer to Kyiv, and they are starting to bombard from further away, to me, this doesn't look like we've got 48 hours left and then it's all going to be fine. I'm not expecting rainbows, ginger snaps, and singing Kumbaya in 3 days, given the direction that this seems to be going. And of course, I'm always more than willing to hear different opinions from people in my audience. I want to say thank you to Wind Up Cat and Abe Froman for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, numbers 1 and 2 today. Also, a huge thank you to Sarah Beth. I think the last name is pronounced Bede. I hope that's right. Sarah Beth, thank you. Sarah Beth is the first person to sign up on my website today, joinpacman.com, and is new member number 3. I know that there are anxious people hoping for some voicemails today. I will get to voicemails. It's been so busy lately. We just haven't been able to, quite frankly. But we're going to get to that, but I do have some other things. First of all, I know that this is really late in the game, but if you live near Florence, South Carolina, or even near Florence, South Carolina, Trump's holding a rally there Saturday. That's in 2 days. We would love to have a correspondent there. Okay. So if you live nearby, if you have at least a phone and some kind of mic you can attach, because the last time we did this, the audio quality was not good with the ambient noise when people didn't have mics. If you can get there, you got to get yourself registered. You got to figure out how to get there. We'll pay you to go. Okay. We want someone there doing interviews who could connect with us via Skype. And it went so well when we did it in Texas. Was it Texas or Arizona? No, it was Texas. Yeah. If you live close enough to Florence, South Carolina, and you can get there Saturday, please email info@davidpacman.com. Subject, Florence Rally. Florence Rally. We'll pay you to go. We just need one person, okay? And you've got to get there and do all the stuff, but we'll pay you. So you can email. What else do we have here? Oh, so Madison Cawthorn, who recently was charged with driving without a valid license for the second time, okay, after being pulled over for driving over the center line. Okay. He now has started to go kind of in a more pro-Putin direction again, which we expected some of these clowns to do. Here's what he recently had to say about the Ukrainian president, Zelensky.
Send Stinger missiles over to them so they can defend themselves better. But remember that Zelensky is a thug. Remember that the Ukrainian government is incredibly corrupt and it is incredibly evil and it has been pushing woke ideologies and it really there's the new woke world.
Okay. So 3 things. Is there corruption in Ukraine? Yes. Is there more corruption in Russia? Absolutely. Okay. Is there any thuggery in Ukraine? Yes. Is there way more dangerous thuggery in Russia? Of course. And is it true that Ukraine is pushing woke ideology? No, it's just not as overtly homophobic and transphobic as Russia. Okay. This is an insufferable clown. And Lindsey Graham clearly is not thrilled with the Cawthorn wing of the Republican Party. You'll remember that when Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert during the State of the Union yelled out very, very disgustingly, Looney Lindsay, as we used to know him, said, "Shut up." He also doesn't seem to like Cawthorn.
Putin. There's a poll coming out tonight I'm aware of where Putin's approval rating is 0.7%. Now, I don't know who these people are, but there are not a lot of them. I think the average Republican and Democrat in this country would give high marks to Zelensky. Do a poll. I've seen these polls. What Putin has done something we can't do among ourselves. Like 90% of the country is with the Ukrainians and is opposed to Putin. So when you see a member of Congress say things like this, the one thing I want you to know, they're outliers in the largest sense possible on our side. And there's some on the left that are outliers. So let's end with this thought, that America believes that Zelensky and the Ukrainians are the good guys.
All right. So anyway, he says that the perspective of Madison Cawthorn is an outlier. And that does appear to be true, generally speaking, right now, at least in terms of what's being said publicly. I think he's right about that. Okay. Other super chats. David, sir, who's your favorite drummer? I love Matt Garstka. I don't have one favorite drummer. It really depends on the genre. But there's so many great drummers, right? I mean, if you want to talk about people like Vinnie Colaiuta and Steve Gadd and that entire generation, you've got a whole bunch of great people there. And then, if you look at punk or it just really depends on the genre. Steve Smith is great. Carter Beauford from Dave Matthews Band, and Mike Portnoy from, I guess, what would be called progressive rock. Bonham, of course. There's just so many. It's sort of like saying to anybody who reads, what's your favorite book? Very, very tough question to answer in such a concise way. Thanks to Jen here for gifting a Twitch subscription. I appreciate that, Jen. Also, big thank you to Andre Thompson. Andre just did something very, very special. Andre signed up on my website, joinpacman.com, with the coupon code OBAMNA. OBAMNA! When you use that code, you save and everybody wins. I do have one new element on my soundboard, and it's from that really strange Trump interview with the UFC prank guys.
Hold on, I'm coming.
Right. That's the new Trump element that I have. I think that's all in terms of new stuff. I do have this.
The best is yet to come.
Okay. So that might be useful on Saturday when we cover the Trump rally. Okay, let's continue. Here's a guy in the trucker convoy interviewed by Andrew Callahan. And he says Putin's a good guy. Putin's the good guy here.
People are pretty sympathetic and supportive of Putin. Why has this change occurred?
Well, the deep state has always made Putin to look like the bad guy. But he's a good guy. He's taken out all the biolabs, child trafficking areas.
These are all lies, by the way. Whoa, look at this guy's eyes. Something weird. I just paused it in a weird spot, but something's up with this guy's eyes, huh? That's weird. Maybe that's a medical condition. I don't know.
Adrenochrome harvesting areas.
Oh, wait, did he say adrenochrome? What was that word he used?
Adrenochrome harvesting areas. If people would have watched when Trump came into office right at the beginning, when you saw them hand that soccer ball off, that soccer ball had so much information in it to take down everybody that Putin.
Oh, I've never heard that. There was information in the soccer ball, which, wow, that's a pretty slick way of getting Trump what he needs.
Had so much information in it to take down everybody that Putin's been getting all the intel on for years.
Right.
It had a lot of data in it.
Data? Yeah. By the way, this Ukraine summit that he's referencing here, I'm sorry, the Ukraine summit, Finland summit. This was when Trump came out and said, Listen, I asked him if Russia did any hacking, and Putin said he didn't. He denied it very strongly. So I just don't think so. So that guy's out of his mind. Here is Lauren Boebert. I don't know what kind of joke she's trying to make here about Joe Biden's not really running the country, but it falls very flat.
Work, not OPEC. And I don't know who's running the federal government these days, Joe Biden or Prince John Prince John, but they're taxing us into.
Anybody know what that's about? What does that mean? Like, what was she even trying to say? I don't know. I genuinely have no idea what the joke was even supposed to be. Very bizarre. Larry says via Super Chat, Cawthorn is super dangerous, still ridiculous, but very scary. I consider him a huge threat. Also, are you a fan of Matt Cameron or Danny Carey? Only in the most casual way. David, sir, any concern the Supreme Court will declare the Obama discount code unconstitutional? I'm worried. I am very worried about that. Yeah. No, I'm worried. Dude's eyes cocked like a pistol. Yeah, it was strange. It was very strange. Should we give this one more listen to see if we can figure out what the joke was supposed to be?
Work, not OPEC. And I don't know who's running the federal government these days, Joe Biden or Prince John Prince John, but
who is, like, if I just Google Prince John, what do I find? Prince John was the fifth. Hold on, let's see here. Prince John of the United Kingdom was the fifth son and youngest of the 6 children of King George V and Queen Mary. Anybody know what that's about? Robin Hood movie? Prince John, Robin Hood? Let's see. Prince John is the main antagonist of Disney's film Robin Hood. He's the younger brother of King Richard, from whom John usurped the throne of England. Man, I don't even know. John is reviled by his subjects for stealing from the poor to heighten his own wealth and prosperity. That doesn't even make sense because they like to say Democrats want to steal from the rich. Well, I don't know. It's all very strange. Very, very strange. Let's check in a little bit here on the Jussie Smollett sentencing.
Talking about the time wasted by the Chicago police force, time wasted by the city of Chicago. He also spent time talking about the impact this could have on the LGBTQ community. But there are problems with that, of course, Judge. Because I searched the disorderly conduct statute, the entire team did, and I was searching to see if there was any aggravation or enhancement ladder that our legislature in Springfield put in place for class.
Okay, so they're continuing to argue over what kind of sentence actor Jussie Smollett should get. And we'll continue looking at that. Thank you to LDoc for the Twitch Prime subscription. I very much appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. Few other super chats coming in. President of Cameroon, Paul Bia, says, David, sir, you should try to get on H3's Leftover podcast. I think it would be bigly entertaining. I would do it anytime. You know, I was in LA not long ago, and it was right at the end of the year. And Ethan Klein said that they were off that week, the week I was there. So that didn't work out. But I would love to be there anytime. Is the Prince John reference trying to say Biden usurped the presidency from Trump? Maybe. I mean, is Lauren Boebert that smart? I don't know. I don't even know if that's what it would be. It's all very strange. Very, very strange. Let's look at, okay, we'll listen to a couple voicemails. Yeah. I'm at 1,100 voicemails, so let's listen to a few of them. Here's Eric from Mass.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. What happened with the biolabs? I thought that was a conspiracy theory. Oh, I thought the Pfizer documents were a conspiracy theory. 9 pages of side effects. and you walked all your dum-dums into the hospital and the grave.
Okay. Here's Troy York.
David Packman, you're
actually I'm so bored with Troy York. I'm reading ahead of what I don't even want to play this voicemail because it's actually so weaponized. Let's listen to a different one from Troy York.
Basically, Stephen Colbert is worth $75 million and gets $15 million for that horrendous unfunny program on global corporate network. And the audacity of this.
I just could not care less about Stephen Colbert. I really couldn't. It's just like, okay, whatever. Here's one from Whitney.
So I found out that Macron had more to say after I looked through a lot of articles because I saw one and I was like, that was crazy. But also on the Ukraine issue, I was noticing that Russia kind of like had a good tactic in mind when surrendering some of their people.
Wow, Whitney now weighing in on military strategy. Very, very interesting. That's pretty fascinating.
Hello, David Packman. I have 2 points. First of all, Ron DeSantis, no matter what you leftists say, he was not bullying those kids who were wearing masks. He was actually giving them the freedom not to be bullied by the administrators.
No, he bullied them into taking off their masks. He bullied them into taking them off.
So I really think that ENTJ is like really unreal.
Yeah, I still don't care about Myers-Briggs.
Hey, David Packman, this is Dave Berkshire. Hi, how's it going? I think the reason people call and expect you to defend communism is because you espouse a bias in everything you do against conservatives and Republicans, and it makes people assume you're a communist.
Well, that makes them very stupid. Most people who think the American right wing is bonkers are not communists. So it would be a stupid assumption to make that because I think Madison Cawthorn's a moron, I'm a communist. KG says, hoping someone makes a mashup video with a conversation between the Wisconsin nail salon caller and Whitney. That would be pretty good. That would be very, very good. Eric from Mass continuing to call back.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. Pfizer documents. 3% mortality rate, 93%.
Imagine being so deluded that you believe 3 out of every 100 people who got the vaccine died. Like, imagine being that stupid. How many people have gotten the vaccine in the United States right now? I mean, I guess if there's 331 million, and what is it, like 85% got 1 dose or 80% got 1 dose, and 3% of them died. That means there's nearly 8 million people that died that we've heard nothing about. They're just, I guess they just disappeared. It's completely crazy. Imagine being that deluded.
So I figured out what the similarities between the Aries and the Taurus.
So not only do I not care about Myers-Briggs, I also don't care about astrology, Whitney. With total peace and love, I say that to you. Okay, we're not going to do astrology stuff either. Okay, here is a man at the Clark County School Board meeting invoking Black History Month and imploring teachers to teach about Hulk Lawyer, a Black Confederate soldier under General Vines. This may be a psychotic break.
Tonight was a special night. There was a lot of young people that were here. Tonight was special. But mainly for February, I would like to talk about Black History Month. In honor of Black History Month, I will be speaking about Black Confederate history of this Confederate boy. He was 14 years old. His name was Hulk Lawyer.
Hulk Lawyer. Why do they say Confederate? Isn't the word Confederate?
There's a picture of him. He joined the Confederacy under his General Vines as a free 14-year-old boy. And just to let you guys know that state requirements is CCSD has to teach on Civil War and Reconstruction age. Hulk Lawyer died in 1936.
This guy doesn't exist. This guy just doesn't exist, the guy he's referring to.
Lived through Reconstruction, and that many point of views. If you guys talk about diversity, why don't you talk about Hulk Lawyer and his point of view? Because he died proudly a Confederate. So anyways, that's just something for the school teachers.
Maybe this guy has a cold, and that's why it sounds so weird.
School teachers and everyone else.
Whoa.
Thank you, Mr. Carlo.
Wow. White man honors Black Confederate history icon Hulk Lawyer, but there is no such person. According to Civil War historian Kevin Levin, it is more likely that the person mentioned was Holt Collier. Okay, so who's Holt Collier? Holt Collier was a noted African-American bear hunter. Okay. But was he a Confederate? It's all pretty weird. Holt Collier, Hulk Lawyer. Man, how weird is that, huh? That is just bizarre. So, okay, that happened. Here's something really weird. Jimmy Dore bizarrely claims popular music critic Anthony Fantano is behind Ukraine invasion. I want to find Jimmy Dore bizarrely claims popular music critic. Let me just find this article. Where is this? I'm actually not finding the article. Is behind Ukraine invasion? Is this a joke? Maybe it's not even real. Let's see. I actually can't find the article. Maybe this is actually fake. It's real? Oh, is this a real story? I'm not able to find it, so maybe it is not real. Let's see. HuffPost. Yeah, I don't even know how to search on HuffPost. The HuffPost website is completely toxic. Jimmy Dore. Anthony Fantano. Yeah, I actually can't find it. Maybe this is a parody. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was... Yeah, I just have no idea. In a bizarre explicative... Oh, well, no, this can't be real. Explicative. I think it's probably fake. Okay. Well, whatever. Who knows? They've been going really hard on Fox News against Kamala Harris lately, and it's starting to get kind of like beyond just a policy critique. Take a listen to this.
And Putin is thinking, maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
Is that what Putin's thinking, Greg?
I think that Putin realizes that we're not in it to win it, right? We wouldn't have sent her. She's great for us, this show, but she's lousy for this job. She makes us laugh, but her laugh is so unsettling because she wasn't laughing about an obvious thing that other people could see. It was an inside joke of sorts. So it just is kind of like, what are they doing up there right now?
This is like the least funny guy on Fox, and I think he's supposed to be the only funny guy.
I don't understand it. She's like a child. She's on a big trip. She's like a child who's allowed to see the cockpit, but you better not touch anything. Please don't touch any of the buttons. She's not allowed to have any impact on anything because she's not to be, they don't trust her. She is right now a Polish joke. And I love that she said full stop.
What? She's a Polish joke? What the hell? Like she's like in Poland, they see her as a joke? Is that what he means? I don't even know. Is this comedy or is this real? Or news? I don't even know.
But but you think when you now that's the unserious stuff. The serious stuff and the sad part is this is a symbolic virtue signal that is replacing real activity. We do not need this sort of emblem, is what she was referred to. She's an emblem of our concern. We need a shocking, audacious diplomatic effort, and we need it swiftly. I've talked about it before. You know, we spent a lot of time and billions of dollars on the Ukraine. Now they need us.
The Ukraine. Does anybody know what this guy's talking about? Like, why is he still even saying the Ukraine? And he wants us to think Kamala's the one who doesn't know what's going on. 20 years of saying the Ukraine. I don't know what he's talking about.
We got to send our very best there, not the Joker in a pantsuit. We need Obama, we need Trump, we need Bush. They got to go. One or two, the combination, because we need mediation on steroids that expresses how much the world is disgusted by this and how intent we are on stopping the bloodshed and potential World War III. Without that, by doing this only prolongs it. This prolongs the suffering, and it makes us look like we don't care.
Can I
Anybody know what's the analysis? That Kamala is bad and wow. This wasn't it. Then Jessie Waters hosted Janine Pirro, who says Kamala has the intellectual horsepower of a fourth grader.
Around the Capitol, Zelensky's in deep trouble if he can't hold these guys off soon. And it's, they're going to starve him out and then they're going to send in assassins. We don't have a lot of time. We have to do something more than we're doing right now.
Well, Dana, given the fact that
I can't tell if this stuff is because Kamala's a woman or because she's, quote, black, even though it's, she's half South Asian, half Jamaican. I can't tell why they're doing this.
Doesn't even have the ability to say, yes, we will accept refugees when she's in charge of the border, is really, it's stunning. I mean, she has the intellectual horsepower of a fourth grader. I mean, why is she there? Didn't she know that she'd be asked these questions?
Well, I think that she was sent there on a mission that was done.
Okay. It's getting pretty bad there. Here's another one of these interviews of the Bill Barr book tour. The Bill Barr book tour includes Bill Barr telling horrifying stories about Trump, but then saying I'd still vote for him over a Democrat. And here, Bill Barr bizarrely says that 78 years old is too old to govern for Joe Biden. But Donald Trump is currently almost 76 and would be he'd be older than Biden is now when Barr said he'd vote for him again in 2024. I mean, it's all...
If he was the nominee.
Well, I didn't exactly say that, but I think I said, look, I think we'd be making a grave mistake if he was nominated. I hope he isn't. If at the end of the day, he's the Republican nominee, while it's hard to see everything over the next 3 years, I think the greatest threat to the country is the progressive agenda that's dominating the Democratic Party. And it's hard for me to conceive I would ever not vote for the Republican candidate. That would, to me, be sort of the choice between the lesser of two evils.
Is there someone out there that you see? You said you think it should be someone younger who you would want to see be the nominee?
I think there's...
By the way, why are their microphones so echoey? Are you guys hearing that? It's like this is one of the most profitable media entities in the United States, and what's with the echo? It's very strange.
The Republicans are blessed with a lot of qualified people, and many of them would be great presidents. And I'm scratching my head as to why we've had 4 baby boom presidents in a row. And then instead of moving on to the next generation, we go back to a pre-baby boomer in Biden. It's time for other people to step up, and there's a lot of talent there.
You think he's too old to govern?
Who?
Biden.
Yes. People age at different paces, and he's an old 78, is he? Right. He's an old 78, and I think he's too old to govern.
Yeah, I mean, Trump would be 79. This is all very, very strange.
Personally.
Also, wasn't Obama like 44 when he became president? 46? What was it? Anybody remember?
So what's next for Bill Barr? You've done a lot of things. It's a 600-page book, and it goes back to your time at the CIA and
600 pages. Can you imagine?
Being a China scholar and all of your history. What's next for you? What do you hope to still do?
Have fun. I packed a lot into 72 years.
Play some bagpipes?
Play bagpipes, yeah.
Bill Barr, thank you very much.
Well, he's certainly full of plenty of hot air that I would imagine he can really pound out those bagpipes. What a bizarre whole thing. Now, a bunch of you have emailed me over the last few days about William Barr. Here's some of the things that some of you guys have said. Number one, Barr is helping Trump set up an insanity defense by claiming Trump really believed the stuff that he was saying. That's one opinion from a handful of you. Another one is Barr is actually doing this specifically to help set up someone else, like maybe DeSantis or maybe someone less obviously insane. I don't know. I think he's just trying to sell books. I think that's basically what it is at the end of the day. The way, here's a super chat. The way Americans pronounced Putin sounds like the German word for turkey. Yeah, some people say Putin and some say Putin, but then people like Madison Cawthorn seem to be saying Budin, like as if it were Budin. Budin. Hillary says, David, sir, as do you have thoughts on how we can help the refugees of Ukraine? I think at this point, all we can really do is donate to entities that we trust. Connor says, Parkman, sir, I asked this on the last stream, but it disappeared. Are you an atheist, longtime supporter member? And I've always wondered this. I don't know whether I'm atheist or agnostic. I'm open to the idea that there is some kind of higher power, but that I am as open to that being some kind of technology overlords as I am it's a personal God, as some say. For me, I've seen no more evidence that there's a God than that we're in a simulation or that we're someone's science experiment. I don't know. So I don't know what that makes me, but and people will say, oh, but David, sir, you talk about latkes and knishes and kugel and you're making borscht and what it sounds like I'm culturally Jewish, ethnically Jewish, and culinarily Jewish. But I'm not a religious person. Let's see what else we've got here. Chandler says, sir, does my love of ginger snaps make me an old 44-year-old? I don't know. I had a ginger molasses cookie the other day. It's an interesting cookie. It's not ever what I would choose, but it was an interesting cookie. I can't say I hated it. Okay. Okay, hold on. So let's see. My phone is blowing up. Is it relevant to what I'm doing here? It is not. Okay. So I don't need to pay attention to that. Will I open the phones today? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, we're pathetically at 6 out of 100 website members and Twitch subscribers. So let me give you guys the good news and the bad news. The good news is that on the 10th of the month, we're already over 1,000 Twitch subscribers. That's the good news. Okay, that's the good. The bad is that today we're at 6 out of 100. I guess I'd be willing to make a deal with you guys where instead of targeting 100, I'd be willing to move it to 50. So that puts us already at 12% of the way. If we get to 50, I'll open phone lines, and that includes Twitch, and that includes the website. And just to double down on it, first person to use the code Please Don't War on my website today, joinpacman.com, I'll send you a free coffee mug. So I'm doing everything I can, but let's kind of just see where we land. Other super chats coming in. Thoughts on the Pfizer document that shows 1,200 vaccine deaths in the first 3 months? I'm boosted. Just asking questions, not the asshole Tucker way. I have not seen that. I've not even heard of that. I mean, I know that for a year, Eric from Mass has been, emailing in about that. Let's see. Pfizer documents. Let's see what that's about. Articles inaccurately claiming 1,200 COVID vaccine deaths. Okay. Let's see. Online articles shared on social. Let me just pull it up. Why am I reading this off screen? Let's take a look. Now, mind you guys, this is not me researching right now. This is kind of the first I'm hearing it, and I'm just going to see what this says. Articles inaccurately claim document reveals Pfizer COVID deaths. Online articles shared on social media claim a document released by the FDA revealed more than 1,200 deaths related to the Pfizer vaccine in a 90-day period. But the pharmaceutical giant says the document does not indicate the fatalities are linked to vaccination, and it concludes the shots are safe. Oh, okay. So based only on this one sentence alone, what I would imagine this is about is that much like for a period of time, any death in someone who had COVID within 60 days of having COVID was counted as a COVID death when really they could have died from anything, which, by the way, Republicans said that was being covered up. We were upfront all along about how these numbers were calculated. Massachusetts, for example, is now reducing the death toll by about 15% because of that. Okay. It seems to me that what the documents show is that over a 90-day period, there were 1,200 vaccinated people who died. And of course, when you start with vaccinating the oldest people and the least healthy, I mean, people die. So it seems just based on one search that it's not true. I mean, it's, I don't know how much time we want to put into that necessarily. Derek says, David, sir, Wisconsin will take 500,000 refugees, please, with acrylic tips. Yes. Yes. I want to say thank you to some really great people, including Zero Cool, who has both gifted and subscribed, as well as Ange Cole, putting us at 9. Also want to say thank you over on the website, a huge accomplishment. Jacob Aston just signed up on my website with the coupon code OBAMNA. And his new member number 10. Still a free coffee mug available to whoever is the first person to use the code Please Don't War. If you sign up with the coupon code Please Don't War, you will get a free coffee mug. Other super chats coming in. Larry says, I actually learned the term ethno-religion from watching you. Want to thank you. I've always struggled to explain Judaism is a race and a religion. Now I can more easily. Shalom, bro. Thank you. By the way, you will get crushed in certain circles for saying Judaism is a race. I think it might be better to say it's an ethnicity. Although, guys, I think we all understand what's being said. But there are circles who will not understand that. And one of the simplest ways to explain it is if you are born to two ethnically Jewish parents and they are also religious and you quit the religion, you are still ethnically Jewish. When you imagine that, for example, I know people who are Jewish who go through fertility treatment. You get tested for specific diseases that are more often carried by Ashkenazi Jews. Just because you stop believing in the Torah doesn't change that you would still want to get tested for that stuff. So there's two different things. On the other hand, imagine the opposite. Imagine you're born into a Mormon family and you convert to Judaism, right? You are now religiously Jewish, but you don't need to be tested for that stuff, right? You're obviously not ethnically Jewish. These are two different things. Do people understand this? Because it seems so straightforward, but I feel like that it's the source of a lot of confusion. Oh no, now there's the whole Semite thing. Green Man, I love you, but yes, Semite means one thing. Anti-Semitism by convention refers to Judaism. And I understand if you want to take what we might call, God, I hope Green Man's not a fundamentalist etymologist. Green Man, please tell me you're not a fundamentalist etymologist. Oh my God, he is. They came to me. They said, "Sir, Green Man is a fundamentalist etymologist." No, okay. I think we're all clear on this stuff. I don't think we have to continue. Okay, good. A few other memberships dumping in. The free coffee mug goes to Adam Kanuski. Am I pronouncing that correctly, Adam? Adam has signed up on my website with the coupon code Please Don't War. Adam, you get a free coffee mug. Email your mailing address to info@davidpakman.com. Also, thanks to Gina Redford, Hugh Mungus, Hillary Lee, Miguel Salazar, Andrew Furrow, and Christina Gonzalez, all signing up and putting us at 17. The deal we made is we cut the goal from 100 to 50, and we'll open phone lines if we get to 50. We're only at 17 though, which is not great. Okay, as we wait for the trial to resume, let's get back to a few other voicemails. It's crazy how many of these voicemails are coming in. I'm going to do my best to get us somewhere here. Let's see here.
I hope people like Ben Shapiro realize that when you say stuff like lying about rape is the same as some of the other nasty fucking shit that men do, that there's other people here watching who aren't legal and do lots of nasty, fucked up shit to people.
Okay, I think she may be starting to describe crimes. So I do want to get away from that. Thanks to Patrick Boyce. Patrick just signed up on my website and is new member number 18 today. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we've got. Here's foreign policy from Troy York.
Hey, David Pakman, your assertion that the Ukraine war can last 10 to 20 years ignores the fact that Russia's having sanctions on them. They won't be able to fund it.
It's so weird. Let's test the audience. Okay? I'm going to give you guys a test, and I think you guys are going to pass with flying colors. Okay? Let's say that I were to say to you, the British Foreign Ministry believes the Ukraine-Russia war could last 10 years. Okay? Is that my opinion or is that someone else's opinion? I'm telling you, okay? I'm telling you. The British Foreign Ministry believes the war could last 10 years. Would you say, David, your opinion is it could last 10 years, or am I telling you someone else's opinion? Let's see if people pass the test. It's someone else's opinion, right? So when Troy York calls in to say, I'm wrong that it could last 10 years, I'm reporting what experts and intelligence agencies believe. How is this such a complicated thing? Okay. Thanks to Skittle Stew for gifting 5 subs, putting us at 23. Also, thanks to Rico B for signing up via Twitch. And a big thank you to Elora Moeller, who just signed up over on my website. Guys, we are halfway. If one person dumped in 25 gifted subs, we would open phone lines right now. KB says, do you get any normal voicemails? Yeah, I'll play a normal voicemail for you. Okay. I'm not going to a regular caller. I'm picking at random. This is just the newest voicemail. Let's listen.
What's up? I got a question. What is the difference, barring all of the sophisticated equipment that Russia's using to kill everybody in Ukraine? What's the difference between what he's doing and how this country was acquired? Same shit was going on, only the weapons were different. People came in here and devastated Indians, the people that lived here.
Yeah. So this is a fair question. I mean, there's 2 different answers to that. One is that was a long time ago and things were very different. It's not a very satisfying answer. That would be number 1. Number 2 is that was also wrong, right? I mean, it's the problem I have with that is, what does that tell us about what should be done now? And it tells us nothing. It tells us nothing. You know, that's the difficulty. And it's sort of like, it's fine. It's fine, you know. Wow. Skittle Stew has just dumped in 25 subscriptions.
Big, massive dumps. And what happened, if you watched the election, I was called by the biggest people. They call them dumps.
Right. That puts us at 50. Also, I want to say thanks to Any43, who's new member number 51 today. And also thank you to Syed Ahmad, who is new member number 52 today. Let's open the phone lines, guys. I appreciate that. Zombie says the Prince John comment was a reference to Robin Hood. Okay, let's hear from a few of you guys. I always stick to my word. When we make the membership goal, we open the phone lines. Discord is where we do it. You go to davidpakman.com/Discord, and then you go to the waiting lobby. Okay? davidpakman.com/Discord, waiting lobby. And then I will pick up on a few of your phone calls. This is exciting, guys, as we await the resumption of the trial. Oh, before we do that, someone sent me this. They spotted this in Oklahoma. Here's a vehicle where they have "I stand with Putin" on it. 1776, Trump, "I back the blue, let's go Brandon." Sheep, watch fake news. Pure blood Generation X patriot, raising lions, not sheep. Okay. From Pedo Joe, who supports DHS, let's go Brandon. So this is pretty weaponized. They've also got a, what is Hyundai Japanese or Korean? Where is Hyundai from? This is a very pro-American person. I forget where Hyundai is from. It's Korean? Yeah. Yeah. So that happened. All right, let's speak to some people, starting with Shayna from California. You're on the air. Shayna from California, you're on the air. Shayna from California, you're on the air. All right. No Shayna. Let's go to our friend. Oh, it's Tamisha from New York City. Tamisha, how's your son? Tamisha? Oh, I'm not even in the waiting lobby. I'm an idiot. Oh my God, that was my fault. Hey, Tamisha, how are you? I'm sorry. That was my fault.
Hi.
How are you?
I didn't even hear you call my name.
I know, that was my fault. That was my fault. Your son's doing well?
Yes, I have two sons, but yes.
Oh, okay. Well, they're both doing well. What's going on?
What was I going to say? I've been having withdrawal from not being able to speak to you. Work scheduling is problematic. But
well, I'm glad you're here. Oh, it sounds like there's some commotion in the background there.
Yeah, my son. Ryan, be quiet.
Okay. So how are things in New York? I hear things are kind of getting back to normal to some degree.
Yes, things are back to normal, which I agree was time. I think like the numbers are significantly low enough to feel ready for everything to go back to normal.
Fair.
I feel comfortable with normal.
Good. What's on your mind today?
I just had a quick story from an experience I had, I think it was last week at the barbershop with my son.
Okay.
So I walk into the barbershop and there's three men waiting to get haircuts. And one, I'm figuring out while they're talking about Ukraine and Russia, of course, but they start talking about other things. And the one guy sitting next to me, he says, "I'm Jewish." And I don't remember what he said, but he said, as a Jewish person, this, that, and the other. And the guy next to him goes, "I don't understand why Jewish people don't like Trump, because they're Democrat. I mean, what the Democrats have done to the Jewish people." And I'm sitting here trying to bite my lip not to say anything.
Right.
But I did eventually say something. I was like, well, I know, from what I know, Jewish people tend to be left-leaning. And then they were talking about Jewish people being secular, and it went into all kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of meaty stuff in there. You're basically right. I mean, A recent poll of American Jews found that I think it's only like 22% or 26% believe in God. So that is a pretty secular group. And also it's one of the most liberal voting blocs. I think it's close to 80% of Jews tend to vote for Democrats. So both of those things are true.
Oh, that's even interesting. I didn't know the specific stats, but I guess I was right that that Jewish people tend to be left leaning.
Oh, yeah.
And he also said something about the anti-Semitism on the left, I guess. And I went on to say, well, there's anti-Semitism coming from both sides at times.
You were right. You're absolutely right.
And then the third guy he seemed very religious. And he was talking about religion and stuff, and then he started talking about Islam, and he was saying, "Oh, Islamic people are, they're very violent." And I had to chime in and say, "Well, no, that's the extremists." I was like, "Ryan," I was like, "That's the extremists. That's not everybody.
Yeah,
that's very violent. So you can't say that all Islamic people or Muslim people are violent."
Of course, it sounds like you handled it quite well, I have to say.
I was trying. The last thing, they're all talking, and I'm like, well, I'm a teacher. So the guy who said the thing about Trump, I don't know why people don't like Trump. He goes, teachers are sheep. And I was like, well, I take offense to that because I'm a teacher and I don't find myself being a sheep.
Right.
And he's like, well, not all teachers, but a lot of them. And you probably are too, he says to me. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
So then I had to chime in and say, well, guess what? I think Trump was horrible and I don't like him at all. So the guy's like, so then the things go left. And he's like, what? Are you crazy? You don't like Trump of what? Everything he's done, and everything he's done for your people. And I'm like, who's your people? I didn't know what he meant by that. I guess he meant because I'm not white. I don't know what he meant by that.
I think that's exactly what he meant.
Yeah, I think so too. But I really didn't address that part because I didn't want to go into the weeds with that.
Yeah.
So
but one thing that's useful to say in those cases is to say, what exactly did he do? And see if they can even name anything.
Well, he did say he brought back so many jobs to America.
From where?
And I was like, well, he did outsource a lot of jobs too.
Yeah.
And that was and then he went on to say that I'm brainwashed. And I was like, okay, I'm brainwashed. But meanwhile, prior to that, he had mentioned, I don't really follow politics. And I was like, well, I do follow politics. And you said you don't follow politics. So I don't know who would be the one who's more brainwashed.
Yeah, this is like that UFC dude we covered who gave a press conference on Saturday. And he was like, listen, I don't know what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. I just don't know. I just know I'm not going over there. But Biden and his son have made all sorts of money. You know, it's like, I thought you just said you didn't know anything about it. But people who don't know anything still have many opinions, I guess is what we're learning.
Exactly. It was basically the same kind of scenario because I remember you talking about that.
What neighborhood was this in?
I live in Throgs Neck in the Bronx. This is like Throgs Neck, Pelham Bay area. I live in AOC's district, actually.
Gotcha.
She's my person, which is weird. I don't know how she makes it into Congress and it's very Trumpy over here where I live. It's very hard to.
It sounds wild. Was the haircut at least okay?
Yes, he looked handsome. He looked very cute.
That's good.
It wasn't the barbers; it was the customers. So
right. No, I understand.
But I just wanted to share that crazy story.
What's your tipping policy on haircuts these days?
Actually, my son. I don't know. I really honestly don't know. I think they overcharged me for the haircut, which I didn't realize because I was too busy talking. So I was giving my son the money, so I wasn't paying attention. But I try to tip $5 to $10.
That's
just
fair.
a blink. And I have to tip for two because I have 2 kids, so I have to tip for each person.
That'll add up. That'll add up quick.
Yes.
Well, Tamisha, you've really said it all. I appreciate your call.
Thanks for taking my call. Have a good one.
All right, there we go. Tamisha from the Bronx, always great to hear from her. Always great to hear from her. Let's go next to, I hope I pronounced this correctly. Is it Chidi or Chidi from Helsinki, Finland?
Yeah, it's Chidi.
Chidi, how are you?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Good. And are you Finnish?
Yeah, I was born in Finland, lived there for a few years, and then moved to Southern California. So I grew up in SoCal. But,
okay. Yeah, you sound like a SoCal guy, I was going to say.
I hope that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But so do you get back to Finland?
Yeah. So I did my military conscription back in 2013.
Oh, wow.
Spent most summers in Finland, and I'm actually in Finland right now. So.
Oh, you're in Finland. Wow. And I can only assume you love that salmon soup they have in Finland, right? I have to ask.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's the best. It's the best. I don't know what they do, but that dill they put in, it's just extraordinary.
Yeah, it's definitely intrinsic to Finnish culture.
Right.
So put dill on everything.
Absolutely. All right. Well, what's on your mind today?
Yeah, so I'm just kind of curious what your take is on social media and misinformation. Obviously, social media bears a lot of responsibility for the spread of misinformation. It results in radicalization and has had unimaginable consequences. So I'm kind of curious what your take is on, how we move forward. Obviously, social media wasn't very prevalent even 20 years ago. It's a pretty modern technology, and with the way that Congress is and how a lot of these Congress people are pretty old and are not very up to date with modern technology, I'm kind of curious what you believe is kind of the path forward as far as ensuring that the spread of misinformation doesn't become an even bigger problem than it is already.
So my view on this is, hold on. I have a situation here. Hold on a second. I'm being told that we're having a situation outside my place. So here's my view. I do not believe that we are going to regulate our way out of this problem. I don't believe that the solution is going to come from anything other than educating people so they never fall for the BS to begin with. And the problem is we're fighting the right in just about every state. We have to be teaching media literacy and critical thinking starting at age 10 everywhere. And I don't know how we make that happen, but I think that's really, you've got to go to the source, because when we think about any technology, and Neil Postman writes about this, the potential for the spread of misinformation through social media can't be eliminated out for as long as social media exists. So you've just got to give people the tools not to fall for it. That's my view. I just don't think you're going to regulate your way out of it.
Yeah, I've heard you speak about educating through media literacy. What would something like that look like?
In terms of the coursework, or?
Right. Like, is this something you would teach in schools? Is this something that like you would expect parents to teach through like socialization? Like, I'm just kind of curious what that process would
Listen,
look like.
in an ideal world, so kids, when they are 2 or 3, advertising starts to work on them, and they don't even necessarily know the difference between like the program and the advertisement. So in my ideal world, parents would always have a narrative about understanding what it is we're watching, and not everything is true, and here's how you think for yourself, and all these different things. It's not realistic that every parent is going to be equipped to do that. So I think that it needs to be part of school curricula. I don't see any other way.
Right. Yeah, it seems like those who are most susceptible to the influences of social media actually get it through their parents. So kind of moving forward, it seems like those who you would want to educate in social media and media literacy would be getting that kind of misinformation from their parents. So,
in some cases, it's not only the parents won't be the ones teaching it, it's the parents will be the one disseminating the misinformation. And that's very sad. That's a shame, to quote Donald Trump.
Yeah, very much so. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. I appreciate the call. Great to hear from Finland. I mean, we love Finland, obviously. A couple super chats here. David, how are you? Just joined your YouTube membership. Do you think the USA will get oil and gas from a different nation other than Russia? Probably do a peace treaty from Venezuela. I don't know yet. I don't know. I have not been following that closely enough. Let's go to Drew from Fort Lauderdale. Drew, I'm going to be down in Fort Lauderdale very, very soon.
Outstanding, sir.
Yeah, I haven't been. I've been to Fort Lauderdale once when I was a kid. I'm going to be upfront. I did not love it. But I'm going to be down there doing some shows and podcasts, and some of them are right in the Fort Lauderdale area.
Nice. Be prepared. It's super scorching hot.
I'm ready. I'm ready for that. And also I am Got some good. I'm going to dinner with a couple people. Sounds like there's some pretty good restaurants down there at least. So it should be a good time.
Absolutely. Yes, it will be a good time.
Good.
Well, I just wanted to ask you real quick, what's your stance on sending Poland's MiG jet fighters to Ukraine? I know they've already ruled it out, but I apologize if you've already gone over it at one of your shows.
No, you know what? I haven't gone over it. And to be totally honest, I don't have an opinion on it because I haven't followed it closely enough. Like what's the controversy? Can you explain it to me?
They're saying that they don't want it. They think that it'll be an escalatory action.
Who?
They're worried. The United States.
Oh, okay.
And NATO. They said that that'd be a step too far. That if we provide them with those MiGs, that Putin, and they're even talking about saying, he could go nuclear on us, and we cannot risk that. We cannot risk that type of escalation.
Nuclear proliferation.
Yeah. So I mean, listen. Here's the thing. In a sense, it would be potentially escalatory. At the same time, if the parties involved are worried enough about what Putin's going to do next, such that they believe sending the MiGs is a preparation for defense, then you kind of have to do it. I mean, I don't think you can be guided by how a madman will react to you to some degree.
Right. And we're kind of like giving up we're kind of like letting him dictate as opposed to us dictating what's going to happen.
Indeed.
And that's why I'm for the no-fly zone as well.
The no-fly zone is tough because the thing about the no-fly zone is anybody can make a no-fly zone, but it's about enforcing the no-fly zone. And what we're talking about is shooting people down and killing them at the end of the day. So that's a major step. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just saying it's more than just, we should just do it. Like you don't offhandedly do a no-fly zone.
It's just my feeling on it is this is where we need to be strong. We said never again after World War II.
Right.
It's happening again. And we've already given them thousands of javelins, which have destroyed hundreds of vehicles and killed, hundreds of Russian soldiers already.
Yeah.
And we said we're going to give them what they need. He's begging. Zelensky's begging for these jets.
Do you want Biden to go back on no boots on the ground, or do you want him to stick to that?
No, I want him to stick to that.
Okay.
We have the most awesome Air Force in the history of mankind. There's no way, I believe, that if we shot down a couple of the Russian jets, I guarantee you that the Russian jet fighter pilots will think twice about going over that airspace, regardless of what they're being told.
It sounds to me like, listen, I am not pretending to know the answer here. I know that the no-fly zone will lead to significant death, and not just the fighter pilots, but it'll lead to death on the ground as well, from what I'm reading. So I just think we got to be very, very careful about that.
I really appreciate you talking to me about this, and have a great time down here. And again, don't bring anything but shorts, T-shirt, flip-flops. That's all you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Drew. I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
All right. There's Drew from Fort Lauderdale. I do want to say thank you to Pepper Love and Kitty. Pepper Love and Kitty are new members 53 and 54. And a huge thank you to Barbara Fusco, who just signed up with the coupon code Please Don't War on my website. Robert says via Super Chat, I wish I could put into words how much I appreciate what you do, sir. You have become a cornerstone in our news cycle here at home. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Let's go next to David Leibowitz. This isn't David Leibowitz from Paris, France, is it?
Oh, no, this is not David Leibowitz from Paris, France.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome, David.
Yes, I didn't actually expect to be called on, but
I didn't either.
I've been watching your show for many years, and it's a great talk
Thank
to you. I think this has been talked about a lot, but in talking about bringing up these ideas about conservatives now trying to bash Biden over his use of oil policies and how that relates to this fake idea that Biden is being brainwashed by AOC. What is the
I've not even heard that. Who says Biden's brainwashed by AOC? He seems to barely pay attention to her.
No, I believe there's a Fox host, Kyle Kalinske. Kyle Kalinske like brought up, I think, a thing like
Fox
AOC.
host Kyle Kalinske. What? Wait, well, hold on. Let's back.
Wait, Fox host Kyle Kalinske brought up a Fox.
Oh, host. Kyle brought up that a Fox host mentioned it. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, they said it was AOC's war.
I see.
Yeah, but basically, I guess, what is the best and worst way to respond to the oil crisis at the moment for left-wingers?
Did you hear that noise? Is that a vibrating phone? What was that?
Yeah, that was.
Oh my God! And now we got Discord going. There's a lot happening over there, isn't there, David? Oh my God! Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, or what's going?
I can hear you. Yeah. No,
okay.
My phone just...
So listen, here's the deal. The president can do very little about the gas prices, and I've talked about that before. So there's really, at the end of the day, two things that have to be done, and these are not necessarily easy things to do. Number one, anybody who is impacted by the increased price of oil is going to have to deal with it. And I'm not saying that in a glib way to say it's going to be no big deal. But what I mean is Keystone XL is not going to lower the price of gasoline and home heating oil. So part one is we're now in a situation where we're this dependent on oil and the price is going up and people are going to have to deal with it and tough it out. And I'm not saying that that's going to be easy. And number two, this should be a reminder that we got to get off the oil. We've got to start transitioning to electric vehicles and electric home heating, which can be powered by solar. It can be powered by wind. It can be powered by geothermal, although geothermal is not considered renewable in the same sense. So, okay, that's what we got to do. And it's underwhelming because it's not going to fix anything today for anybody. It's like, I know that, but we should have done it 5 years ago and 10 years ago and so on and so forth. So that's the solution. Presidents can do very little about gas prices.
I guess I'm personally actually studying to be a psychologist. So specifically, definitely around some parts about messaging. But how would you say to win the messaging war over this, as climate is even being obviously mocked in the news, but at least it's actually been brought up in the news? How do we take advantage of this moment?
If the left were smart and well-funded like the right, they would be funding every single think tank and political analyst and whatever, and getting big PR dollars to get them booked on every show possible to say, this is why we've been talking about green energy and electric vehicles and getting off of fossil fuels. If we were off of them, or off of them to a great degree, we wouldn't be in this gas price crisis, because we would be able to say, well, we're not really using that much gas here. So I think you would have to throw a ton of money at it and get the people on cable, radio, TV, et cetera, messaging around that. They're just not doing it. Every once in a while, someone's like, I don't know, maybe do some more electric vehicle chargers or something, but you've got to throw a lot of money at it.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure. Great to hear from you. All right, there he goes. David Leibowitz. Powerful insights. Let's go to Dre from Georgia. Dre, go.
Hey, pleasure to be speaking with you, David. I've been watching you for a couple of years, so I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. My pleasure.
But on to my question. So, how do you think the Ukraine situation is going to affect the left electorally? Because the American population is bipartisanly in support of the American support of Ukraine, except organizations such as the DSA have been pushing for NATO to leave, or the U.S. to leave NATO, which is an extremely unpopular position, and some of their members, like Jamal Bowman in New York City, has been receiving pushback for that stance. So I'm curious, what do you think about that?
I think that the DSA is so small in the United States right now, and its impact is so minor, that for me, I'm seeing most Americans approve of Joe Biden's response and handling of the Ukraine crisis so far. And most Democrats are on board with that. And so I see it as for 2022. Now, the question in 6 months might be different, but as of right now, it seems to me that it would certainly not hurt Democrats in 22, and it might help. And I even saw some recent polling which shows that all of a sudden Democrats have a better shot at retaining control in 2022 than at any point in the last year. Doesn't mean they will, but I think that so far it's all been not negative and potentially positive for Democrats.
Or that's not exactly what I meant when I asked the question. So,
oh, when you said electorally, I thought you meant in the upcoming election.
Oh, sorry, I meant more like the progressive left. So people like your AOCs and all that, because I do think this is benefiting the Democrats as a whole.
Yeah.
But I think the progressive contingency of the Democrats might get hit by this in like 2022 midterms and 2024, because like Jamal Bowman, who I mentioned, who's a progressive Democrat,
Yeah.
he might get primaried, for example, by a more moderate Democrat for his stance on this.
That may happen. I mean, I'm just not even really aware of it because it's getting almost like the first I've even heard of this is from you. So I can't speak to Jamal Bowman. Maybe he'll get primaried. Maybe he will lose. I'm just not sure. But I've not even heard this discussed, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, that's totally fair. It's just yeah, maybe I'm looking into it a little too much, but I definitely appreciate you picking up the call.
My pleasure. Thanks, Dre. Great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you too.
All right, there's Dre from Georgia. Let's speak to a couple other people. Let's see. What's a place we haven't heard from recently? There's so many different places. Oh, you know what? It was my fault earlier with Shayna from California, so I'm going to go back to Shayna. Shayna, that was my fault earlier. I apologize. Oh, God. Shayna, you're completely digitized or digitiled. Your voice is, something's wrong with your...
Yeah, we have a pretty weak connection.
Oh, my God.
We have a pretty weak connection.
Oof.
Can you hear me, David, sir?
I can hear you, ma'am. Yes, I can hear you, but it sounds almost like, I don't even know what to call them. Like, they're like technical noises.
Yeah, our connection's kind of weak, but...
Oh, now it's better. Now it's better.
Okay, great. Okay, first of all, regarding the Jussie Smollett case, I hope he does get jail time for what he did, because he's just making making it harder for actual hate crime victims.
I'm with you 100%, Shayna.
Just like filing any false police report, be it a hate crime, sexual assault, filing a false police report makes it a lot harder for the actual victims because it strains their credibility.
You are laying out the case beautifully. I'm with you 100%.
Why would he do that?
That I don't know. Does anybody know? I mean, do you know why he did this? I don't even know why he did it.
Me neither. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
I especially can't believe he hired Nigerians to do it. I mean...
Right, if you want to claim white guys attacked you, you got to hire white guys to attack you, I think. I don't know. I mean, I'm no criminal genius either, but it seems like a basic thing.
Absolutely, David. And another thing, do you really think, how far do you think Putin will go? Do you think he's someone with nothing left to lose?
I mean, I think the question is, how far will he be allowed to go, Shayna?
I'm still a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
With them taking the nuclear plants. I know there might be a tactical reason, but still sends a chill up my spine.
I agree with you. You're following this pretty closely, it seems.
As closely as I can.
Yeah. Good. Well, it's you've really said it all. Remind me which area of California you're in?
Sacramento.
Oh, Sacramento. That's right. And it gets quite hot there, does it not?
Sorta.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, there was a woman in Sacramento who faked her kidnapping. She was Caucasian. I forgot her name, but...
A fake kidnapping. Did she hire someone, or she just called in a fake kidnapping?
No, it wasn't a hire. It was she was actually spending some time with her lover. She's married, you see. So she
See, that seems like a perfect example of... It might sound like a good idea, but you have no off-ramp from that. That makes any sense.
I'm just saying, the conservatives might be a little bit silent about that because she's Caucasian.
Uh-huh. Okay, well.
And while she didn't hire the person, she just lied and made it up on the fly because she didn't want people to find out she was cheating on her husband. I just want to say to the conservatives, keep that energy for her, you know?
Keep the energy. Shayna, I appreciate it. You're going back to robot voice, so I'm going to keep going with the calls, but it's really great to hear from you again.
All right. See you later, David.
Okay, see ya. There's Shayna from Sacramento. What a great, we love hearing from Shayna. Let's go to Gabriella from Brussels. Now, is that Brussels, Belgium?
Yes, David, that is Brussels, Belgium.
One of my favorite cities in the world.
You gave me the Umamito recommendation.
Right.
It was excellent.
How are things going?
Good. We just got masks are no longer required outside of public transportation. So
so hold on, let me see if you're saying, they are still required on public transportation, but nowhere else?
But nowhere else, yeah. So university, restaurants, everything.
And do you feel good about that?
Well, I had COVID about a month ago, and I still have some breathing and coughing issues. And I'm boosted. So I think for me, I have all the immunity I think I can get at this point.
Okay.
But I definitely feel differently about COVID after having it myself. So
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And are people who continue to wear masks, are they stigmatized and shamed, or is it just no big deal? Everybody can do whatever they want.
Oh, it's absolutely no big deal. I think mostly in Europe. I've lived in Italy now and Belgium, and there's no stigma around, in the general population around caring about COVID or not caring. I think everyone cares to an extent, and it's just very normalized.
That's great. I think that's fantastic. There's states in the U.S. where if you wear a mask, you're kind of ridiculed, actually.
Yeah, I spent some time this summer in Indiana to visit family, and I felt that.
Here's another recommendation for you. A restaurant called Nordsee. Excellent seafood place in Brussels. Yeah.
Oh, that's the seafood. Okay, I've seen it. I haven't been, but actually I'm craving some fish, so I think I'll go.
It's fantastic. And I highly recommend the razor clams.
Okay, I'll put that in my Google Maps list.
Please.
So I actually called because there's something from the oil crisis that's going on now. There's a part of the analysis that I really haven't seen anyone mention, and that's the 1973 oil crisis that we experienced under Nixon.
Yes.
When the Arab countries embargoed oil in the U.S. and there was a consumption limit, and people were lining for hours to get oil. And I feel frustrated when I watch analysis and they're like, this has never happened in the United States of America.
Well, but there's some key differences. You bring up a good point, which is it was an oil crisis. That's true. The difference is so now we have a situation where there's plenty of supply. The gas is available. It's just people are getting frustrated that it's expensive. So there's no reason right now. Right now, if you were to say we're going to cap how much gas you can buy, if anything, it would probably make the prices shoot up even more because it's uncertainty and it would cause chaos. In 73, there were limits on how much you could buy because of supply issues. It was more driven as a supply issue than primarily a price issue.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think about that. That makes a lot of sense. I just wish that there was, I hate the term like this doesn't happen in America and this has never happened before. And I really wish that there would be more like historical memory there that actually, things with oil have happened before in the U.S.
Things with oil have happened. I think that's fair. There have been oil spills. We had the transition to avocado oil, and there's been all sorts of oil-related news. That's absolutely true.
A lovely transition.
Yeah, I would say so. Gabriella, thank you. I appreciate the call. My pleasure. There's Gabriella from Brussels. Hopefully, she can report back about Nordsee. Other super chats. Sir, how is a no-fly zone considered offensive when considering the atrocities being committed? Oh, no. Listen. So, Taylor, I want to be very clear. What I said was it's completely plausible that Russia will see it as an act of aggression. But what dictates whether it's done can't be how a lunatic will react to it. That's my only point. Have you heard anything about the guys on trial for conspiring to kidnap the governor of Michigan? I have not been following that. The excuse is they were lured into it by the FBI while stoned. I should follow what's going on with that, Kevin. Rick says, what do you believe Biden can do to relieve the price of petrol? Almost nothing. Almost nothing. I know that now I've done this 10 times, but there are 3 things that a president can do to impact the price of gas. Number 1, invade an oil producing nation, which will raise the price of gas. Number 2, raise or lower gas taxes, which I don't even think they can do unilaterally, but they can push for that to be done. If you raise gas taxes, the price of gas goes up. If you lower gas taxes, okay, you know what happens. And number 3, release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which over the short term can have an impact of, from what I'm reading, 15 to 20 cents per gallon. That's what a president can do. And I guess, stop buying oil from somewhere else, which is what we're doing with what the world is really, the West is doing with Russia. The president can really do very little as far as that goes. All right, let's chat. Where do we want to go next? How about, let's see, I'm trying to look for someone I've not spoken to before. Let me try Sammy from New York City. Sammy, you're on either way, but have we spoken before? Sammy from New York City, you're on. Oh, boy. Sammy from New York City, last chance to unmute. That's too bad. All right, let's go instead to Matthew from Oregon. Matthew, you're on the air.
Hey, David, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Hey, David. So I just wanted to talk about, so I'm in school studying political science, and I've seen a lot about with local elections, like for school boards and for, library boards and stuff like that, that conservatives and Republicans seem to have, they put a lot more effort into those elections, and progressives and Democrats don't really as much. Do you have any sort of insight on what Democrats can do to get more involved other than just spending the money, or is that
no, it's spending the money and deciding to do it and training people. And I mean, it's like if we did to the school boards, not with the insanity, I just mean if respectfully, right? If we did our version with school boards of what they did to school boards with the masks, maybe we'd have more school districts teaching critical thinking and media literacy. It's a failure of effort, and it's a failure of funding as well. I'm not denying that it's a money thing.
Okay, yeah. So you think that it's a money, but it's also an organizational issue that the people that care just don't care enough about actually going to the meetings and stuff?
Yeah, I don't want to say people don't care, but it's people don't know, or they're not sure how to organize it, or they don't understand the importance, or it doesn't occur to them. I don't want to characterize it, but it's not happening is the most important takeaway.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's sort of my idea. So do you have any idea of what can be done from a higher organizational level, or do you think it sort of needs to come from the grassroots?
We've just got to do what the right does, which is start spending the money, build the organizations that will explain to young people and people of all ages, here's what you have to do. Here's what you have to do in your community. You've got to show up. And the way they organize to say, we don't want masks on our kids, we have to be organizing to show up and say, we want X, Y, Z. It's the exact same thing, but it's for causes that are actually worthwhile.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, thanks for giving your input on that.
My pleasure. Matthew from Oregon, thank you so much for the call. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for calls today, and that's going to do it for the stream. I will be back with all of you very soon, if not tomorrow. Saturday for the next Trump rally 2022 is on the way, and these are candidate endorsement rallies, and it's going to be a lot. And remember, Donald Trump's favorite song.
Hold on, I'm coming.
Exactly. And we will see everybody on Saturday at the very latest.